Schumacher's future is uncertain because he has only won twice out of 35 races. Schumacher's deal with Haas runs out at the end of this season, but he was rumored to be leaving Ferrari as one of their junior drivers. During the summer break, talks with his team about a new deal fell through. Since then, Haas has said that they are looking at their options, and Daniel Ricciardo, who has won 8 Grand Prix races, is one of them. Mick Schumacher joined the Haas F1 team in 2021 after winning the FIA Formula 2 championship. He will stay with the team in 2022 as well. With the last name like Schumacher, everyone is watching the young driver as he tries to make his own mark. Let's look at the brief biography of Mick Schumacher and its future. But first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell for all the latest updates. Mick Schumacher's history as a Formula 1 driver. Mick Schumacher was born and raised in Switzerland, even though his parents were German. He lived in Vauxhall-les-Châteaux as a child. He is known for being the son of 7-time F1 world champion Michael Schumacher and European champion in Western riding. Schumacher becomes F2 champion. In 2019, Schumacher moved up to the Formula 2 championship and started driving in Prema with Sean Galil. In his first F2 race, he got points and got the reverse grid pole position for the next sprint. Schumacher had a rough start to the season because he got into a lot of accidents and had to pull out of races. In that year, his second best finish was in the sprint race at the Red Bull Ring, where he came in 4th after a strong run through the field. Schumacher's best race on the season was in Hungary, where he won his first F2 race after starting from the back of the grid. He finished 12th in the championship, which was a long way ahead of his more experienced teammate Galil. Schumacher stayed with Prema for the 2020 F2 championship. He was joined by Robert Schwartzman, the young F3 champion and fellow Ferrari Driver Academy student. In the feature race at the first race of the season in Austria, he crashed into Callum Millett, who was also in the running for the championship. F1 career begins with Haas. Late in 2020, it was announced that Schumacher would drive for Haas in F1 in 2021. He was paired with the Russian Nikita Mazepin, with whom Schumacher had raced in Formula 2 and karting. Schumacher's longtime relationship with Ferrari, which supplies Haas with engines and other parts, was also a big deal of the drive. In April 2019, he drove a Formula 1 car for the first time with Ferrari in Bahrain, while testing during the season. He drove for Haas in place of Kevin Magnussen during FP1 at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in 2020. This was his first F1 race weekend. Schumacher asked to use the well-known MSC abbreviation as his own before the 2021 F1 season, which would be his first year in the sport. His father, Michael, called him MSC, which helped him stand out from his brother Ralph at the time. Mick used the initial SCH, where he raced in Junior Series before. Haas decided not to work for their car for the 2021 season so they could focus on getting ready for the new rules in 2022. This made things hard for Schumacher and Mazepin, who often found themselves at the back of the pack. Schumacher's first Formula 1 race was in Bahrain, where he qualified 19th and finished 16th. This meant that he had already done something that his father did not: finish the first Grand Prix. Schumacher crashed during free practice 3 at the Monaco Grand Prix. Because of the damage to his car, it couldn't be fixed in time for him to take part in qualifying, but the German was able to pass his teammate Mazepin for the first lap, which was one of the few times he was able to do so during the race. At the next race in Azerbaijan, Schumacher and Mazepin were in the news when Mazepin seemed to make a very late, high-speed move on Schumacher on the first lap, almost causing them to crash. Schumacher was furious and yelled into the radio, "Is he trying to kill us or something?" Schumacher crashed during qualifying for the French Grand Prix, but he also made it to Q2 for the first time. The Hungarian Grand Prix was the most exciting race of Schumacher's season. During the first lap, there was a lot of chaos, and a few of the top drivers were either taken out of the race or moved down the list. This gave Schumacher a chance to run in the points for a while. At one point, he had a race with Max Verstappen, which showed off his skills to many people. Later, Schumacher also chose this as his favorite part of the 2021 season. In the end, he didn't get any points, but he did finish 12th, which was his best finish ever. At the Turkish Grand Prix, Schumacher again made it to Q2, but he ended up 19th because he crashed into Fernando Alonso on the first lap. Alonso later apologized for the accident. In Mexico and Saudi Arabia, some drivers didn't finish the race. In Saudi Arabia, Schumacher crashed, which caused the race to be stopped. In 2021, neither Haas driver scored any points, but Schumacher finished ahead of Mazepin in the World Championship standings, coming in at 19th place. What can Haas and Schumacher achieve in 2022? Schumacher will race in Formula 1 for the second time in 2022, and Kevin Magnussen will be his new teammate at Haas. Because of the new rules that are being added to the sport, it's hard to say what the order of things will be in 2022. Steiner has also said that he thinks Haas could work their way back up to the midfield. Schumacher, on the other hand, says he knows what is expected of him this season and is hopeful that he and the team can keep getting better. In 2022, Schumacher will not only race for Haas, but he will also be a reserve driver for Ferrari. He will share this job with Antonio Giovinazzi. Schumacher could go to Alpine, where Esteban Ocon wants him, or McLaren, where Sebastian Vettel wants him if he loses his race seat, but the 23-year-old could also be out for Formula 1 racing. Glock doesn't think that's true. The former driver, who is now a commentator, thinks Schumacher has a lot to offer a team. Glock told Sky Deutschland his chances of staying in F1 are still very good. In the last few races, he had been getting better. Since the knot broke and he got his first point, he's been doing very well. He got a lot from what he paid for. At first, it was thought that Schumacher, who is friends with Ocon, could move to Alpine next. However, there is talk in the paddock that Alpine really wants Pierre Gasly. Glock, on the other hand, thinks that Schumacher should go with Alpine. If he can jump to a team like Alpine, that would be perfect for him to take the next step, the German added. Alfa Romeo, which is expected to become Audi in 2024, is another option out of left field. However, they already have a full hand, with Valtteri Bottas, Sainz and Zhou Guanyu, and Theo Pourchaire fighting for the second seat, but Glock thinks it would be good for the Audi brand to work with a German driver. He said Alfa Romeo will become Audi in the long run. It's possible that he'll be able to do that. That would be a dream for the future, a German company making cars and a German person driving them. Williams was also on the list. My gut tells me Mick could go the way of Williams, but it's hard to say for sure, he said in the end. Mick Schumacher's choices are being narrowed down. Helmut Marko, who works for Red Bull, is not in the running to give Schumacher a race seat, but he could be the one to decide Schumacher's future. All of that depends on whether or not he is willing to let Pierre Gasly go. It is said that the Frenchman is Alpine's top choice, since the team wants an all-French lineup. Marko has said, however, that Gasly will not leave AlphaTauri before the end of 2023. But of course, money could be a factor. With that money, Red Bull could pay Gasly to drive for them in the Alpine. If that door closes, Schumacher's realistic choices are Haas, Williams, or nothing, because AlphaTauri already has a line of drivers who wants Gasly's seat. Gunther Steiner has talked a lot about Daniel Ricciardo in the past week, maybe just because he keeps getting asked about him. This has led to rumors that the Aussie is Haas's top choice, so Williams is either in or out. Glock says that Schumacher is a good fit for Williams, or perhaps it would be better to say that Schumacher is a good fit for Williams. No one wants to move to the last team on a grid, but if it's his only choice, Schumacher will go there. What he brings with him is support. Sponsorship is what Williams always needs. So, that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. Tell us what you think about the video in the comment section below. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to get updates when we post new videos.